Hello, everyone.
Yo,
Guess we're 7 past the hour, so um, can you get started? Feel free to sign into the Google Doc. Um, I don't think we have any new faces. I haven't been to the last few of these. I don't know if you're new here, Rudra, but looks like you're associated with Colin.
Yeah, this is my first time joining, but Colin and David, my colleagues, like they've been into plenty of meetings in the past.
Cool.
So I'm joining with the same intention.
Awesome. Happy to have you here. Um, let's see, going through kind of RFC stuff. There aren't any RFCs that are ready for review. Just kind of going through the tags or voting. Um, I see that I guess 336 was on the agenda last week. Do you know where things kind of, I guess, was left off from that?
Yeah, so it was discussed last week as well, but I think Jesse and John was looking into it. What could be the possible way to move forward with our RFC? But yeah, I'm not sure about the update from last week.
Did a steward get a sign for this RFC yet?
Sorry, what?
It doesn't look like a steward was assigned for this RFC.
I think not sure about like particular if it is signed is not signed or not, but I think mostly Jesse and John was looking into it.
Were there specific things that you want to discuss in 336?
Uh, Not as such, like, so the last meeting that we had, so there it was discussed like, so the proposal is basically having the launcher in the running. So it was basically like it was an action item, I think, on Jesse or John to, like, they were just looking into like whether this could potentially break things or not. And they were supposed to get back on this. That's nothing much that I would like to.
Gotcha. Yeah, Jesse brought this up last week, I believe, on kind of how we want to approach potentially having a hard dependency on the runtime layer if it ends up being a symlink.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're still just kind of waiting to hear back on kind of decision there.
Yeah, right. Just waiting.
How often are you all, I guess, like updating the launcher underneath for your users?
Like currently, we are not uh, updating it like for the already deployed applications. Like I think mostly lifecycle updates that we do is subject to CVs. Like in the like recently we have to do it like I think 3 4 times in a month or so. But yeah, it's not something hard bound that we do it. So like the proposal, that's the main issue that we're trying to solve. That for existing deployed applications also we can patch the launcher updates.
For the existing apps, you'll have to rebuild them, right, to get the symlink?
No, we don't need to rebuild. So it's like uh, basically at the time of build itself, will point basically will create a symlink in the launcher layer. Like when in the launcher layer, it won't it will be like the launcher will not be installed at at the particular layer. Instead, it will just be a symlink to the location in the run image where the launcher will be there. And like we have a mechanism that we update the run image through these image updates through some mechanism that I've also mentioned the RFC also. So it's like launcher, since it will be a part of run image, it will also be get updated whenever the run image will be swapped for the existing deployments. So we potentially don't require a rebuild that time.
Gotcha. Do you have these issues, Colin, for basically CB launcher updates as well?
After updating the launcher, yes, Hamza.
Oh, I guess I'm curious, like what other kind of platforms also do for dealing with this issue.
What was
Like
the what's the particular issue that the RFC solves? I'm sorry, I wasn't here for the past few, so I'm not sure aware of the proposal.
yeah, so basically the issue that the RF is trying to solve is uh, basically we basically patch the launcher in such a way that the user does not need to rebuild their application. And So, and basically like decouple the launcher itself from lifecycle upgrades, because the main source of Go CVs is just the launcher binary, and for that we have to every time upgrade the lifecycle and ask the users to redeploy all their applications. So the RFC proposes that we have our launcher as a part of run image, and run image is like what we update, like what we swap at the time of serving itself. So the launcher itself also gets swapped at that time. Is that clear?
Yeah, Rudra, are you tracking on that?
Sorry, what?
No, he was asking me. No, I'm not fully calling. I I have the RFC open, but I've not fully gone through that yet.
I think the main use case is basically that the launcher's not it. So the launcher's part of basically, like the run image that you have. Um, but essentially you can't rebase the launcher for updates. So when you have to update it for CVs and things, from my understandings, like it would be nice to just be able to have a symlink to a binary on the base image that you can then just rebase under the hood without having to essentially do rebuilds and stuff.
Yeah, basically like yes. So we don't want to have it as a part of build queues, and instead at the run itself.
Yeah, so you're running from a binary, like the launcher is just calling a binary that's a part of the underlying image source. I gotcha. We haven't seen I could see where that's useful. Well, we haven't come across a specific use case for it yet. Maybe only because the rebuild cost isn't all that high in most cases.
Do you just rebuild
But
to get new launcher Go stuff for handling like the Go CVs?
yeah, we kind of do it. We just rebuild so that we get the full provenance as well. But there's a time value trade off. I think I could see the value of there's a trusted binary or something in the base image that we want to call. I could maybe also see the ability to like use the same image but use different binaries under the hood, like build one big image that has multiple services in it and call a different run binary for the different services or something. Like if I was going to do a monolith, take a monolith and put it into a build pack somehow. I could see some things there,
I I think this proposal is
but
is specifically just for symlinking out to launcher specifically and
yeah,
not like a custom binary. So the idea is
right,
like where launcher is, you can either have a binary or have a symlink, and if it's a symlink, it symlinks to somewhere in the base image, and that allows you to essentially replace that binary under the hood without having to essentially do a build, right?
right. Yeah, I might need to read through the RFC. But is it like what is the? I'm just curious too. What is the build? How long does it take to rebuild or build a new image? Is there a cost of just building a new image instead versus doing the symlink? Like, is it a how critical or how much of an advantage would the symlink be over just rebuilding the image? I'm just curious. That's not a challenge or anything.
I think it's just like why people rebase overall, right? Like you want to get OS upgrade
Yeah,
kind of updates without having to do a build. Also, builds aren't deterministic either, right? Like depending on the source is probably the other thing, right? You want to be able to do the lift and shift. And it sounds like at Google they want the launcher to be part of that lift and shift, from what I understand
gotcha.
from the proposal.
Yeah, we haven't seen it specifically on ours yet, but I could see where we could see it if that makes sense. I'm
Are
thinking
you
through where
all
I could benefit from it.
are you all rebasing today? Or are you just doing rebuilds because they're so fast?
No, today we haven't implemented the rebase yet. We're on the way to that, if that makes sense. So we're right now we're catching up to get back within platform spec, back up in sync with the platform spec. That was some of our related work with, choosing KPAC versus kind of writing our own on the Kubernetes native, like the build orchestration side. And maybe Rudra can speak to where we are with that update, but we're working to get up to spec so that we can use the rebase. But we hadn't gotten to the point yet where we were doing the rebase and had seen the need for swapping out the launcher. But I was trying to think through that from the end user side and when we might see it, and that's what I hadn't come up against yet. So our two main areas right now are or three main areas are managing build pack catalog, developing utility build packs to start compiling into inline build packs or composable build packs. So breaking up we're trying to move in that direction where we can reflect the CI/CD process in a collection of build packs, basically. Um, and then the other side there is getting our build and stage workflow up in spec with the platform spec,
Gotcha.
if that's helpful. Yeah, so sorry, there's not much to contribute on this one.
No, it's all good. I feel like there was someone else that wanted to deal with updating the launcher. Just because you get like the CV scanner stuff, so it like pops, you know, the scanners, just because you have like the Go version embedded in the launcher on the image. And I was trying to remember who that was.
Yeah, one thing that we're doing as a part, I wonder if some of it's getting mixed, and maybe David from our side talked about some of it, but we have some utility build packs that do on the fly dependency substitution, like so CVE scan and swap out trusted or other dependent, like basically swap dependencies and things on the fly, and that's meant to be a CVE scanner implementation as well. And that implementation was for Go at first to kind of show that proof of concept. So David could have mentioned some of that. But one thing I'm kind of thinking through too as you're talking through it is like we've been talking through the idea of like one large build pack or using the project toml and having a build pack for the execution layer is kind of its own kind of final launcher step. But again, I'm not in the weeds with that, but I was trying to think through that with like is just because I haven't seen this challenge yet in practice, but I'm sure I will. Um, is this making the assumption that it's like one fully baked build pack as well, or is there might sound really ignorant, or can some of that logic be kind of placed into its own purposeful build pack, and then we use the inline or the composable build packs as a way to kind of give us that flexibility, because you wouldn't necessarily need to rebase. You could just swap out that component.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least for this proposal, like the launcher lives in a very specific spot on the image, so
Yeah.
Plex can't write there.
I'm gonna go read the RFC, but the situation reminds me a little bit of like with Docker images when you choose to use entry point or the run command and like some of the strategy around that. It just seems similar.
Yep. Yeah, I think the biggest concerns are mostly just weighing how to deal with adding a hard dependency uh onto, I guess, like the underlying run image.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to be able to swap everything if you're going to rebase. The same thing where that run command is going to be the final layer of the Docker image anyway. The symlink thing, I don't know. I wish like I don't know if symlink is the right way to do it versus something else. But again, I'm going to go read the RFC so I get a little bit more educated on it. Super helpful coming from
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I think we'll need to, I guess, trying to figure out where we want to land on that particular issue, but overall the use case makes sense to want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? I probably also need to drop at the half, but
Did you have anything, Rudra? I think we know our direction for the most part, but I didn't know if anything had come up that you had questions about, or D had questions about since you're here.
No question at this stage. I'm still trying to figure out, well, on our end, just how the build packs and builder um, thing would work. But um, I'm sure I'll have some questions probably in the next call.
Yeah,
cool.
we feel
Yeah.
we feel like we sorted out, Rudra. We feel like we sorted out our challenges around having the Docker socket and everything available, at least as far as our building in Kubernetes. I think we've got a plan forward on that.
Yeah, there's a plan. There was I ran into a couple different hiccups earlier this week that I need to discuss internally first, just to make sure like I have the clear understanding of the spec and how all it's supposed to work. But um, yeah, to your point, like we're not using Docker socket anymore.
Got it. Cool. And we're moving forward with that, right? We're not using Pack though, but I think our plan was to get back up to the platform spec on our custom stuff.
Yes, without using pack. Yeah.
Sounds good. I think Joe and I will
Or
be,
taking that out of Pack.
yeah. I was gonna say, I think for next week, Joe and I are gonna be out at Red Hat Summit. Um, so I think we'll probably miss working, like two of us will miss working group next week.
Okay.
But yeah, you can always obviously hit us up on Slack.
Yeah, for sure. We might try to use that as a place to, like the removal of the daemon requirement in Pack as a way to kind of get some contribution going. But we're not just going to open up PRs willy-nilly or something. We'll chat with you guys and make sure we do that the right way.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely chat with Juan on, I guess, what even early on of like what you're thinking there. I'm sure he can walk you through a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Awesome. Well, I need to drop for a work meeting, but thanks everyone. And then we'll get back to you on this launcher decoupling. I think it'd be good to get it through, but yeah, I just need to kind of sort through some of the issues or the one issue.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. Catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.